If you love someone, let them go. That may be one of the most cliche statements that we have ever heard. Yep, we often hear it all the time. But the thing is, even though we've heard it so many times and can almost quote it automatically to other people, do we actually live it out? Because in a way, the letting someone go seems almost contrary to our instincts, which is that we want to protect or keep close what and who we care about. We want to cling to them in a sense. And in a bit of an infuriating paradox, neither the clinging nor the letting go can provide a solution to all situations. So I am once again the advocate of balance or finding like the middle road, where it's like, yes, there's this option on that side and this option on the other side, but going full in on the other way leads to a ditch. And then sometimes the best thing is to cling to something, and sometimes the best option is to let something go. So that's just sort of a thing to really think about. Now, as for the clinging, we see this played out in stories all the time, where it's only by clinging to some hope of victory that the heroes are finally able to push through against impossible odds. Or maybe it's a relationship that is saved or salvaged because someone decided not to give up or just to keep pursuing the other person. And this is an appealing idea because the heroes are triumphant simply by their determination, grit, will, whatever you want to say it. They are in control of their own destinies because they didn't give up. So again, really appealing idea. The thing is, simply clinging to things may not always be the best. In fact, the very act of clinging to some concepts may bring about someone's downfall, especially in story terms. So there are three I want to talk about today, which is control, power, and respect. Let's start with control and power and get to respect later. One of the most memorable lines in Star Wars for me is Leia's conversation with Tarkin, or at least it happens there. The more you tighten your grip, Tarkin, the more star systems will slip through your fingers. And this is just a beautiful statement about the paradox of power in a way, because most people, when they get a hint of power, they tend to try to cling to it or hold on to it. At least that's what it appears to be. It's like once they get that taste of power, they want more of it and so forth, and they try to tighten their grip and control it. The other thing is the more they try to tighten that grip, the more they lose it, either because someone wants that power for themselves and they're going to try and take it, or because there are people who just start resenting that control of that power, so they just try to get out from under it no matter what. So there's kind of two different attacks coming for there. But in actually being giving of power, you create a different thing because it's like now no one person has the power. And it may actually be multiplied exponentially because a lot of people are empowered to do things. So now there's no one to really take out, especially if you all have the same mindset. So you aren't really competing with each other. So it's like there's no one to really focus efforts or energy on. There's just strength in a sense. So it's sort of an interesting thing when you get into paradox of power. But again, it's like once someone starts to drip and demand it or desire it, it starts to slip through their fingers eventually. I mean, they may hold on to it for a decent chunk of time, but eventually it will come undone simply because they chose to hold on to it. Now, in regards to respect, it is more like the demanding of respect that is kind of interesting because it's like once someone demands respect, it's almost like respect for them vanishes. It's kind of one of those funny things because, I mean, it kind of assumes a baseline level of respect for most people where it's like, yeah, you're a person. You haven't done anything to harm me or you haven't done anything essentially good for me, so I just treat you well. I treat you decently. And sometimes there is a respect for a position. But the thing is, there are some people that just will not respect anybody. And sometimes it's like, those are the people that people really want respect from, but they have respect for nobody. But it's like, once you start demanding respect, it's like all that respect that people had for you drains away because like, And oftentimes it is because someone hasn't been doing the things worthy of respect. This is especially in Widot's position, where there needs to be an understanding of the position, both the person in the position and the people who are supposed to be respecting the position. So it's like they may have different understandings of the position. So when the person in the position oversteps their boundaries or does things that they assume is not part of the position, then it's like people start to lose respect for them, or they don't act in proper conduct in towards the position, then people will lose respect for them. But then the thing is, like, once someone demands respect and saying respect me and so forth, it's like the way to get respect is to do things worthy of respect and that earns respect rather than to just demand it. Because like, then once you demanded it, it's you're basically whining about it. So it's like, and again, the more you push for it, it's like the more people may be like, why? And then they might find it more entertaining to see people try and demand it and whine about it because, again, some people like the drama and some people like to see people make fools of themselves. But again, it's sort of something to really think about. Because the thing is, we as humans are made for communities, not empires. We aren't made to serve under little puppet masters who want us to jump when they say jump. But yet there are people who want that. And then this isn't to say like the puppet master character is always a bad character. And then sometimes the fact is that someone's planted them to do that simply because they understand what people are going to do, at least in certain situations, rather than trying to make them do everything. I'm talking about the people who just want to control little aspects of life and to basically be like, you'll be happy because I say you should be happy, or you'll be happy because I want you to be happy. All those kinds of things that are just sort of like people want to control aspects of everything. They are kind of like they want people to act how they want them to act rather than how should I say this? But then they want people to act in a certain way, and they want that control over that, and so they dislike whenever somebody doesn't act the way they want them to. So probably not saying it perfectly, but it's just sort of that control that people will cling to. But that's the clinging to things side. Now let's go on to the letting go side, and I think the best way to start with it might be with a couple Bible verses. Now the first is Matthew 16:24-26. And now this is actually like three scriptures that are commonly mentioned a lot, at least it seems like that in the church world. And the first is, if any man would be my disciples, let him take up his cross and follow me. And then the next verse is, who would ever save his life will lose it, but he that would lose his life for my sake will find it. And this is Jesus talking in these three scriptures. And finally, it's, what profit does a man gain? Well, what does it profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose his soul? And then there's like these things that we may cling to or give up in a sense. It's like letting go most things, letting go of how we operate and so forth, laying down pride, life, all those kinds of things that are in these verses. And again, we can also add in John 15:13, greater love have no man than this, than he that would lay down his life for his friends. Again, it's the giving of self in a sense. It's the letting go that is praised and rewarded in a sense. It's almost completely contrary to how we usually operate. And then you can see this in like any story that's about a group of survivors, and that the survivors, once they get into that every man for themselves thing, they can get very inhuman in a sense, like not treating others as human or acting in a way that we wouldn't consider a decent person because they want to survive. So it's very interesting to see that kind of play out and justifies it against, okay, what does it take to actually be a decent human being? It's almost like the laying down of self. So it's just something to really think about. And just for me, finding that middle ground of between being in constant letting go of things and being constant clinging to everything is basically having this open hand policy in a sense, where yes, there's the ability to cling on to someone if they need it and to hold that hand tightly, but also to be willing to let someone go if that's what they choose. I also like to think of it as keeping the porch light on, because like, yeah, you're welcome to come in anytime or whatever and stay for as long as you like, but if you want to go out, just know that the porch light is on and your choice. And then that's kind of the mindset I'm at least trying to adopt and that I feel is healthy, but that's my perspective. If you agree or disagree, why not? Share that in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, you can like and share it so others may enjoy as well. Anyway, I'm Jonah, and you've been watching Lionsmade Media, where we celebrate stories and lessons of them. Thank you for listening to my musings. Talk to you later, and have a great rest of your day.